Hey, let's be honest. Most people think the rich have some secret formula hidden in a vault somewhere. I used to believe that too. I thought maybe they had an exclusive playbook, a lucky break, or some genius IQ. But after years of studying self-made millionaires, billionaires, and even adopting their strategies in my own life, I realized something shocking. There's no secret formula. It's not about waking up at 4 a.m., taking ice baths, or wearing $5,000 suits every day. The truth is, rich people rely on a handful of simple, consistent habits that compound over time, habits you and I can start today. Habit number 1, acting in the face of uncertainty. One thing I've noticed is that wealthy people rarely wait until they have 100% of the answers before making a move. They don't sit around endlessly researching, asking for 10 different opinions, or waiting for the perfect time, because they know that perfect timing almost never happens. Think about Amazon's early days. Jeff Bezos started selling books online when less than 1% of Americans had even made a purchase over the internet. It was new, untested, and risky, but he moved anyway. That decision eventually led to one of the largest companies in the world. In everyday life, most people get stuck at the starting line. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I have more experience, more money, more time. The wealthy, they start, learn, and adjust along the way. I experienced this personally when launching my first online course. My brain threw every reason at me to delay. You don't have a big enough audience. You're not good on camera. What if no one buys? But eventually, I realized those doubts weren't warning signs. They were just noise. So I launched it. It wasn't perfect, but that one step taught me more than 6 months of planning ever could. Habit number 2, allowing themselves to become deeply obsessed. We often hear people say, don't overwork yourself, find balance. And yes, balance matters, eventually. But when you look closely at the early stages of almost every big success story, you'll notice there was a period of deep, almost single-minded obsession. I'm talking about those months, or even years, when someone pours nearly all of their time, energy, and thought into building one thing. When Elon Musk was juggling Tesla and SpaceX in their make-or-break years, he was working close to 100 hours a week. When J.K. Rowling was writing Harry Potter while raising her daughter alone, she admits she thought about the story constantly, scribbling notes on napkins, scraps of paper, anything she could find. This obsession phase isn't forever, but it's often the spark that takes something from just an idea to a living, breathing reality. Without it, momentum never builds. In my own journey, there was a season when I worked nights and weekends, often skipping parties or dinners because all I could think about was getting my project off the ground. Friends told me I should slow down, but deep down, I knew this was a short-term sacrifice for a long-term win. And looking back, that concentrated effort changed everything. Habit number 3, challenging the money rules they grew up with. If you grew up hearing phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, or you need a safe job with benefits, you're not alone. These messages are everywhere, in schools, families, even TV shows. And while they may be well-intentioned, they often limit our financial potential. Wealthy people tend to question those rules early on. For example, most people are taught that having one steady job is the safest way to earn money. But when you look at the numbers, the average job tenure in the U.S. is just over 4 years. That's not lifetime security. That's a paycheck that could disappear with one company restructuring. Others believe investing is too risky. Yet leaving money in a regular savings account, earning less than 1% interest while inflation eats away at 2 to 3% of its value each year, is almost guaranteed to make you poorer in real terms. When I was in the corporate world, I believed making money online was either a scam or something reserved for tech geniuses. Then I met a client who was earning $50,000 a month selling digital products. That one meeting completely rewired my thinking. I realized the real risk wasn't trying something new, it was sticking to outdated rules in a world that's constantly changing. Habit number 5. Building income that doesn't depend on their time. This is one of the most powerful shifts in thinking that separates wealthy people from everyone else. They don't tie all their earnings to their working hours. Most people operate on the time for money model. You work a certain number of hours, you get paid for those hours, and when you stop working, the money stops too. But wealthy people deliberately look for ways to break that link. This can mean investing in assets that generate returns, stocks, rental properties, index funds, or creating something once that can be sold repeatedly, like an online course, a book, or software. Warren Buffett puts it bluntly, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. According to a 2022 Ramsey Solutions survey, 65% of millionaires have at least 3 different streams of income. That's not an accident, it's a strategy. I'll never forget the first time I woke up to find that I'd made $97 in sales overnight from a product I'd created weeks earlier. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was proof that income didn't have to be tied to my presence. That's when the idea of financial freedom stopped being a concept and started feeling real. Habit number 5. Seeing failure as information, not a dead end. If there's one thing that stands out about the wealthy, it's how differently they respond to failure. Most people take failure personally, as evidence that they're not capable, not smart enough, or not cut out for the thing they tried. Wealthy people see it as data. They look at what went wrong, figure out why, and adjust for the next attempt. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first TV job. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Even Steve Jobs was removed from his own company before returning to make it one of the most valuable in the world. Research by Tom Corley found that 76% of self-made millionaires failed multiple times before achieving significant success. The difference was that they treated those failures like experiments, tests that produced valuable feedback. I've had launches flop, products that no one bought, ideas that never took off. In the beginning, I saw each one as a step backward, but over time, I started to see them as necessary steps forward, each one narrowing the gap between where I was and where I wanted to be. When you look at these 5 habits together, acting despite uncertainty, allowing periods of obsession, challenging old money beliefs, building income streams that work without you, and treating failure like data, you start to see why wealthy people think and act so differently. These habits aren't about luck or privilege alone. They're patterns, repeated over and over, that create the conditions for wealth to grow. And the most empowering part? Every one of them is learnable. You can start adopting them in small ways right now without waiting for the perfect moment, because as we've seen, that moment doesn't exist. So the next time you catch yourself hesitating, waiting for certainty, or playing by outdated money rules, remember the habits that build lasting wealth are less about knowing the secret and more about doing what most people won't.